The final collapse of the individual is the acceptance of the cosmic self. If it ever became possible, should mankind ever build an Evangelion? This sounds like a ridiculous question to us in the 21st century, but it may become a concern to generations to come. What, after all, is the point of building a massive artificial human if not for two possibilities? 1, war, and 2, pursuit of God. This is why we concern ourselves and rule out the possibility mankind wouldn't make Evangelions on a moral basis, because there is an amoral incentive to create them. Thus, it is more probable to future generations that they will contend with the reality of the temptation to build Evangelions for war or the mechanization of God. Therefore, our concern is not Deus ex machina, God from the machine. Our concern is Deus homine ex machina, the God-man derived from a machine. The error in the first distinction is that we believe the machine to be God, rather than a conduit or vehicle towards God, since this is more accurate to what an Evangelion is and does. In our distinction, we make note man is what derives this God from the machine, and that the net gain is God, and not the machine nor man. This is the second and arguably theologically more important reason mankind would build Evangelions within reality. Because the attempt to create a godlike being that could change the flow of reality to its will is so appealing that when it becomes technologically feasible, the only question becomes, which superpower will pursue the Evangelion first? The Vatican Treaty prevents any nation from owning any more than 3 Evangelions active at any given time. This is meant to explain the balance of international powers in trying to regulate the arms race posed by the existence of Evangelions. However, it is unlikely that humanity would genuinely accord to a Vatican treaty. Thus, it seems inevitable that Evangelion proliferation is a scientific possibility, and thus becomes near certainty. The potential for Evangelion proliferation exists for superpowers rich enough to explore their creation, and this would create a giant imbalance between nations with Evangelions and nations without. It would radically redesign the nature of political power and imbalance of domination for vulnerable nations by more technologically complex ones. If we succeed at the same level of Evangelion engineering as in the series, then one day we will have multi-purpose singular design with supersolenoid engines of mass-produced Evangelions. In the event of mass-produced Evangelions equipped for war, then the nations with Evangelions would naturally pose the greatest risk of triggering a potential impact, awakening, or berserk event that they could not control. A berserk Evangelion would then require the power possible of killing such a thing, another Evangelion. Therefore, the arms race of Eva technology will accelerate as berserk Evangelions become more and more proliferated throughout warfare. Because the only thing that could destroy an Evangelion is another. This means as soon as one nation develops a single Evangelion, every other nation must then accord likewise, or immediately lose the arms race. With gravity, each arsenal of Evangelions creates a dangerous stake, where any one potential Evangelion could trigger its own version of an impact event, or accelerating to such a state of existence as to become incomprehensible to us mortals. Thus, every Evangelion unit would represent a quantity of unknown threat, where the potential to possibly end the world could exist in every single Evangelion that is developed, including mass production models. The potential to change the balance of nations is immense, because as soon as a single nation of wealth sees a value in a military Evangelion model, then every nation then becomes incentivized to the same. The Evangelion is then not a weapon, but a geopolitical game changer. It is something which changes the playing field. Each EVA is an unknown variable that represents a potential for catastrophe. In reality, the constraints against Evangelions are multiple, hence why it's laughable to us in the 21st century to think of constructing such a thing. However, as technology improves, limitations such as energy production and consumption might alleviate with advancements. So this might make Evangelion engineering more feasible in the future. The potential for war exists in reality always. So combined with the existence of Evangelion engineering technology, the future is facing a delicate question of how to balance the power of an Evangelion army with the potential for that army to go berserk.